Turns out voting works.
What I was trying to touch on earlier was the fact that like we just can't compete with these folks. Before I brought up like the losing subscriber thing, we're farting in the wind. It feels like by comparison. If you look at the top 10 streamers on election day, every single one of them was far right, with the exception of Hassan Piker. He's the only one.
By the way, on that point, Mike, don't answer this. This is just a question, a trivia question. If you guys haven't seen this chart, I assume, Mike, you've seen the whole chart. Who do you think is the number one on that list? Mike's laughing because he knows.
I know.
Take a guess. Lance, take a guess.
Tim Pool.
You'll never fucking believe it.
Not Tim Pool. Binder. Who's the number one streamer on election day? Right wing streamer. Take a guess.
Ben Shapiro.
Dan Bongino.
Oh, Bongino!
I like a lot. I had no idea that this fucking loser. Sorry, I might interrupt you. You can continue, but I just want to.
He's sort of
continue.
From like he sort of disappeared from like the discourse. Like he's not really involved as much as you used to see. Like a lot of these guys are in the muck, like getting involved in the big conversations throughout social media. Dan Bongino is sort of I don't see him anymore really.
Yeah,
getting
but
around.
Also he was never interesting. This is why I think it's, I don't know, from my perspective, you can't compete with these people because first they have the money on their side, of course, but also like morons are interesting to people. Like as somebody, like, I used to watch Joe Rogan before he made the clear turn to the right. Like, you know, I'm talking back 2014, 15 is when I watched him. There were moments, of course, but it's like, all right, I'll just excuse that, whatever, because he's an idiot. He doesn't know things. But then as it got worse and worse and worse, and of course, stopped watching. But like the people that are still with him are dumber than he is. And they're along for the ride with all this fucking bullshit that he's gone into now, where it's just like, he's appealing to people. The reason why this a big talk on social media this week about the left needs a Joe Rogan. You can't have, it's not possible, because Joe Rogan's appeal is because he's stupid. There is no left-wing version of him. He's his own thing also, because he's a moron.
That's definitely part of it, but I also think part of it is they're fundamentally misunderstanding why Joe Rogan is so popular. Like Joe Rogan is not a political show. Like it's a comedy podcast where he on most episodes sits around with his comedian buddies and talks about whatever the fuck's going on in the industry or in the news or whatever. But the thing is, he got popular doing that. Having an entertainment show, an entertainment talk show. And then he had it all on all these right wingers introducing this apolitical or non-political audience to right wingers and making them look reasonable to this apolitical audience doesn't know any better. And now they're no longer an apolitical audience, but that's how they got there. Like if Joe Rogan started a right-wing show and started interviewing like fucking on today's show Chuck Grassley, senator from Iowa, he wouldn't have been that popular.
But like those shows, like there are comedy shows and video game shows that are primarily those things, and they do have left-wing politics. Like those things exist. They're just not as big as Rogan is, because Rogan is Rogan. But it would be tough for anyone with great politics to have a show that isn't about politics that to be as big as like a Rogan, because it's just like it's lightning in a bottle. He's his own thing. You can't really do that.
Did you see that post? Someone said that the Harris campaign spent almost $1 billion in their spending, and it was worthless at the end of the day because Trump won so badly. But that leaves them at a 3-to-1 spending. Trump was like $333 million on like TV ads and stuff like that, meaning they could have spent that $600 million on us, and I think it would have been better spent.
I agree.
I agree.
Where's my cut?
I didn't know you were going. I didn't know you were going for the joke. But I agree, but I wasn't going for a joke.
I'm being half serious.
but none of it mattered though. None of it mattered. Trump had no ground game, no canvassing, no phone banking.
No ground game.
The Democrats had a whole apparatus for the ground game, canvassing, knocking on doors, phone banking. Something like millions of people were reached.
Every major celebrity
in just days. None of it mattered because the messaging wasn't there. You can bring out all of the accomplishments Biden had to help people, but the Democrats never got it through to people that this is what we did. This is how it helped you. This is what we are doing. This is how it will help you. This is what we are going to do. This is how it would help you. They never got this down, and they never did. They never did. They just ran on not being Trump and how dangerous Trump was. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It never has been enough. It's the same campaign that Hillary ran in 2016, and it wasn't enough. What made them think it would be enough this time? I just, and now when you really think about it, if not for COVID, Biden doesn't win in 2020. Trump gets reelected.
1000%. Yep.
Trump gets reelected because they did not learn. They did not learn. They got lucky with COVID in being able to use that as the messaging because Trump bungled that so badly.
Well, they did win, but the Democrats stole it. Trump won, but the Democrats stole it. We can admit it now. We stole it. We helped. Oh, by the way, on that note,
amazing?
Did you all see that?
He was like,
Joe Rogan
Pennsylvania's
clip?
looking. I don't know about Pennsylvania. Oh, never mind. It's all fine. Like,
yeah.
It's so fucking gross.
I got to play this shit for you from Joe Rogan. This to me is just, speaks to the rawes.
So, turns out voting works. It's real. As much as we fucking thought they had it rigged, as much as we thought there was shenanigans and bullshit, and it's just a puppet show, and there's no way anybody could buck the system, turns out voting is still real.
My side wins. Voting is real. Like, how? This is what I'm talking. You can't replicate this on the left. No one's just fucking stupid who votes the proper way.
I mean,
who cares about people?
How unfair
Who cares
the
about
world
working class
is. A
issues?
couple of weeks ago, Lance put out the most beautiful video on the Surf channel. It was about Master Chef, but it ended up being about the purpose of life. He spent hours, fucking almost a year doing this video. Beautiful video. David Dole every day meticulously crafts together a video that's 10 to 12 minutes long. That is very informative. It gets you in because of the entertainment value. It's some clip, but then you dive in and learn something every single time. Matt Bender speaks very eloquently every single week on the Majority Report and on scammed economy and explains things.
Oh, I haven't done that show.
In ways that we aren't able to. Shut up, Matt. Let me compliment you. And I, every single day, do the best job on the Humanist Report. And all this work we put in, and then you get Joe Rogan, who shits out a 3-hour podcast and gets infinitely more views, infinitely more money, and we're sitting here scraping by. It's just not fair. Even the best of the, like, H-Bomber guy, biggest in the BreadTube sphere, not even a fraction of one episode of Joe Rogan. We cannot compete with them. I think we can convert people here and there on the margins, but there's no way to combat this. It's a fucking David versus Goliath.
To be fair, I think I'd rather be H-Bomber guy because it's like one video a year, then he goes into hiding. It's fantastic. That's like an amazing life to me.
True.
Instead of you see about video games.
Yeah, and he has a lot of
on a video game.
Sounds great.
Doesn't he spend a lot of time on that video though? Isn't it like an
no, it's
heavily
a lot of work.
researched?
I'm not trying to like undercut it. No. It's a lot of work.
Did you mention the amount of costumes you'd have to buy to pull that stuff off?
All the research, it's a lot of work. I'm just saying, it sounds one video a year sounds amazing.
I mean, if you want to,
it's the research. That is one of the things, right? Tim Pool can say whatever the fuck he wants. Did you watch Sam Cedars debate where he admitted it out loud? He's like, you're right. I don't think that a civil war is likely. Maybe less than 0% or something like that. And it's like, you can just say whatever you want. Every day, you're not accountable for anything. You literally just look at the headline of an article from the Daily Mail or whatever the fuck, talk for 10 minutes, and then hit send, and then you're out, and then that's it. Your audience doesn't have to correct you. No one has to correct you. There's nothing. There's no accountability. There's no, I was wrong, I want to apologize for that. There's zero. It's like that. It's impossible. Like, how do you like, you're doing all this heavy, like, I want to teach you kids about theory now. Let's talk about Marxism and the exploitation of labor and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, motherfuckers, I just get to go in front, turn on the camera and be like, hey, by the way, trans kids are killing your immigrants or something like that. And it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Trans kids are killing my immigrants?
See? He's upset. He's already
It doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't even have to make sense. It doesn't. Just use the buzzwords and just mumble them all together, and there you go.
Bro, this is why it's so effective. You just go out there and you say, I'm mad about crime. Immigrants are taking our jobs, and they will eat that shit up. I mean, it's just, that first of all, it's easy. because there's a low barrier to entry. You don't need any knowledge to get into it. So any Tom, Dick, or Harry can spout off right-wing talking points and blow the fuck up past us. I've been doing this for 10 years. Motherfucker who starts tomorrow on the right can surpass me in like a month if they say the right shit and have a little bit of charisma. So it's easy, and it's what people want. It soothes their dark souls, where it's like, yeah, I too hate crime and immigrants, and yeah, brown people. I'm seeing more of them, and I don't like this. It makes me feel bad. Thank you for affirming my bigotry. They like that shit, and it's just
should do that. Should we just?
that's what we're competing with.
What if we just stop trying? What if we just stop trying? We just
but that's
turn the
lies.
camera on,
That's
just start
wild.
fucking verbal diarrhea, whatever the fuck comes
That's-
out of our brains.
But
There you
But
go.
that's what Trump has perfected, though. He lies and throws so much shit out there that you can't address any single thing, because by the time you address one,
Mhm.
he's already shat 10 others out. So like
Exactly.
it
You can't
gets
correct
to the
him.
point where like it becomes normalized. I mean, it is normal now. Nothing, he could say anything now and you're not surprised. And it makes it so easy for people to look past. Like, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. He said he's going to lower the egg prices, so got my vote. I mean, there are so many people who are not who even know what he's said in terms of what he wants to do, but doesn't believe he'll do it because he's thrown so much shit out there that some of it sounds so insane that he won't do. Like right now, he's saying he's gonna. I just saw a video that he's said he's on day one he's gonna sign an executive order removing birthright citizenship. Like he's not gonna be able
Right?
to do that.
Denaturalization, is that the one?
Yes. He says,
Or is that
yes.
a different one I'm thinking of?
I don't. I can't watch the video. I just saw the video come up, and
Yeah.
that's how it was described. I mean, do they think he's going to do it? Do they think he's not going to do it? Is he going to try to do it? Can he do it? I mean, it's in the Constitution. He can't. I don't think he can do it. It would require an amendment. You would need to go through Congress to change the Constitution. But he throws so much shit out there that people don't know what to believe, or they just easily brush it off, thinking like he's not going to do it.
Yeah, we're living in a post-fact era, and winning people over with facts, it doesn't work. When I started this, facts were all the rage. It was kind of like dying out, but facts were all the rage, and people could win each other over with facts and whatnot. But now, if you
Facts and logic.
kinda, and then they start to slide into the actually we hate Muslims. And so it started to kind of die out, Gamergate and whatnot. But even if you look at debates, as informative as they can be, nobody ever wins a debate based on substance. It's on performance, how fast they talk, how many points they're able to get out before they're interrupted. So it's just the way that we consume information it's not helping us get smarter.
I don't think Ben Shapiro even does his.
No. I'm saying the debates can
That's
be
true.
run in a lot of ways. In what clip is uploaded to the internet and goes viral. I've seen clips from a debate where I was like, "Oh my god, that person got destroyed," and then I go and watch the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." But that one clip is funny.
Yeah,
Like,
the way shit's taken out of context.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so they try to go
like,
for those types of viral moments, and politicians are even kind of trying to go for the viral moments where they'll, like we saw this with the debates, where they'll have one rehearsed line that they say, and then as soon as they say it, it gets tweeted out, and so we're just like we're becoming a society of just sound bites, and we can only think in tweets and TikToks, and we don't actually like think comprehensively and logically, which is why we're all so fucking stupid. Part of it is we're just genuinely innately stupid, myself included. I'm not excluding myself. I'm a dumbass bitch, but like we're getting dumber because of the conditions, this technology, social media as well. And I just don't know how in this era we overcome that. I think that the stupidity won. Like we're becoming idiocracy. Like I feel like this election solidified the dumb fuckification of America. I'm just like, my brain is cooked after this election. I don't know how to fix it.
There are people that who look at a headline from a well-respected journalist who does all the groundwork and dots all the I's, crosses all the T's, and then they'll see a 60-second TikTok video and they'll view the same as equal in terms of the rigor of whatever is inside of it, because it's published online, I'm consuming it, they're claiming this and they're claiming that. I'm not going to double check. It's out there. They said it. it is stunning.
Mhm.
It is stunning. And you know, not to go back to the first conversation we were having, but it is a generational divide, and it's not divided by young and old. It's literally like millennials are in this bubble where we remember life before the internet and came up on it, so we understand what to look out for. And older people didn't have the internet, and younger people only had the internet, and they are getting fooled left and right.